Rupert here for our first question as we are going to do that. Jake, actually, why don't you reset the room real quickly to give me a little bit of time?
Sure, you got it. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you.
Dave actually is on the way to the NFL.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Today's training is with a BYOQ. We bring on guests to ask questions. So load up the questions that you have, whether you're here on IG, on Clubhouse, in our webinar. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are happy to do that. So I am looking for Rupert. Do not know, please comment, Rupert, if you're here. Thank you so much. At Cole.
Just email him, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. With that,
thank you for your patience.
So much, everybody, for joining. We'll get the link pinned and changed up on there here on Clubhouse. And with that in mind, I'll pass it back off to you, Dave. If we've got someone on Instagram, if you have any questions in general, please feel free to just ask Dave, and we will aim to bring everybody up. So pass back off to you, Dave. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Oh, trust me, Jake, you are always, everybody should have a Jake. You're always a great help. Let me just take a quick question because Rupert did not show up, which is unfortunate. So let's go ahead, take a quick question. When did you know you wanted to empower over 1 billion people to be happy? My mission is simple but big, and it happened because my 12-year-old friend committed suicide, and I was completely torn up because I didn't understand why a 12-year-old would want to do such a thing and how they could do such a thing. So I started doing research on happiness and found that the fastest growing cause of death in almost every demographic in America was suicide. And I had been through my ups and downs, trials and tribulations, changed my perspective of faith, and have worked on creating the values and the daily practices in order to help people make a lot of money, help a lot of people themselves, and have a lot of fun. And so I created a mission to find 1,000 people through all of these different platforms, through the training, speaking, TV shows, podcasts, all the different things that we do, coaching, to find 1,000 ambassadors, 1,000 people that can learn how to, or have learned how to, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. The 3 bases that I think of happiness. And if we can empower people with those 3 things, then we will be capable of doing that. So that's where the mission started. The most difficult thing was, like everything else that you want to do, is to not listen to what other people think, what's missing, or what you don't want. When people laugh at you, scoff at you, and make fun of you, then they eventually applaud you. And that was the case even when I came up with this mission. How many people were not in faith and were not in belief, but now it's turned into a terrific movement with many, many people there to do that. So really, really appreciate it. I'm still looking for, there we go. We got Rupert finally. All righty. Here we go, Jakey Bakey. Thank you for your patience, everyone. We're bringing on Rupert to go ahead and we're going to discuss something. Here we go. Welcome, Rupert. What's going on? I am terrific, my friend. Let me turn up the volume so we could hear you. That'd be helpful for me. Very good. So let me. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. This is our first time kind of coordinating it in this direction. Here we go. Can you hear me? There we go. All right, I'm going to welcome Rupert Ruinwich. He is the COO of Collective. And I wanted to bring you on because so many people are asking me questions about NFTs. And you're opening an NFT gallery, which is in direct partnership with DressX, with the Metaverse's Fashion Week that's going on. I would still say we are so pre-chasm in NFTs and in the Metaverse that most people on our platform today have no clue, and I don't pretend to have a clue. So I wanted to help all of us to kind of get an idea of how exactly an NFT gallery works and what application it has towards the metaverse, what opportunities exist, what capabilities within Web 3.0 make it possible to have a NFT gallery, and how do we utilize it? What should we be looking for? So give me a little bit of background on all the basics so that all of us can start participating by using our skills and knowledge in this space.
Yeah, absolutely. So Collective is made up of three component parts. So we're kind of a venture studio where we kind of invest and build in everything to do with Web3, and that's metaverse builds, NFTs, tokenizing content, tokenizing normal platforms. And then we've just opened this gallery in Venice, Los Angeles. And that's our HQ, but also is this very immersive space with 20 big screens where we can rotate different collections of NFTs. And then we have our kind of innovation lab where we're trying to innovate the space and kind of bring new Web3 NFT projects to the world. The reason we opened the gallery is to your point, like bringing people into the space in a kind of friendly environment that kind of feels familiar because it's like a gallery format. Really helping onboard people into the space, buy their first NFTs. And we also run workshops at the gallery where we teach people how to install MetaMask or buy their first Ethereum, but also learn how to create NFTs using a lot of the tools that exist out there. And I think what we're finding is there's a lot of younger people that are creating NFTs because they realize that there's a lot of tools out there that are free that allow you to do these things pretty easily. And so we used our gallery space to bring people in and teach them how to do that.
And through this and understanding, I think the biggest resistance that people have so far is that when people are trying to get acclimated to NFTs, to blockchain, to Web3, it's really, really cumbersome. And you're kind of the first person and company that I found. And, I find myself, I've been in Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. I found myself even with crypto banking, with my first NFTs, working with Gary on VFriends to this launch. And, it's not easy still. And, for everyone out there, if we could learn about it and make it easy, everything's easy once we know the solution to it or how to do it. I always say the biggest misuse of times between the problem and the solution. Once we know what 2 + 2 is, 4 is easy, but it takes, 20 times through flashcards to figure out 2 + 2. All of it to me is 2 + 2. There's nothing that complicated other than having someone showing you how to do it. In this example, what do you think the biggest obstacles are for people to utilize Web3 and NFTs?
I mean, you kind of touched on it, and you touched on it in some other videos. Like the quickest way to learn is to just do and kind of throw yourself in there. And I remember when I first got into crypto, there was one occasion when I had to move some cryptocurrency from one blockchain to another. And, it took me about 3 to 4 hours to work out how to just kind of buy a currency, move it between wallets, and then connect. So I'd say like the biggest obstacle seems to be just obviously onboarding people into crypto, because obviously crypto is the thing that kind of allows you to buy an NFT and owning a wallet. So I'd say the best way to do it is to kind of throw yourself in there, experiment. It doesn't have to be about throwing money at it, but it's about actually just getting involved, getting a wallet, putting a little bit of Ethereum in there, and buying a low entry NFT and just kind of feeling what it is to be part of it.
I think that is exactly what I did when I used Celsius Network when I bought my first crypto. And Alex Machinsky is the CEO. I've known he created Voice over IP. It's his third unicorn. He's a multi-billionaire. And when he told me, I was like, Alex, I can't figure this out. He said, just buy $100, right? Just start doing it. And I would highly suggest people to do this. Real quick, as we kind of finish up, what is this virtual fashion, metaverse fashion week? Give us an explanation of how the metaverse stadium and how NFT and concerts and all these things are happening at Fashion Week?
Yeah, so we're official partners of both Decentraland and Sandbox, which are arguably the two bigger metaverses on the blockchain. And so in parallel to New York Fashion Week, we created the first Metaverse Fashion Week, which was kind of how you imagine it. It was a Fashion Week event in the Metaverse. We created a kind of experience that you wouldn't be able to get in real life. So it was a circular catwalk. It had like an after party room. We had about 20 different brands sponsoring the catwalk, sponsoring the after party. I think there was a total of around 500,000 people that passed through the Fashion Week in Decentraland when it was running, which is a large number, but nowhere near as large as say the Roblox numbers. So like I think that gradually people are moving over to these kind of Web3 based metaverses. But it was just a really interesting platform because we got to tie in all of these fashion brands. There was the digitalization of fashion happening, so people could buy the digital versions of these items, these luxury items. So there was kind of inbuilt commerce, which is, I guess, why most brands are really excited about the space, is because you can have this immersive experience and also click to buy while engaging on a catwalk.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. And can you believe how many people were there, but yet most people don't know it? And I find that to be true about building brands, about solution services, that we can't understand the size, scope, and scale of our audience. And, it's like when people come up to you and like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know who you are, as if there's not 8 billion people on earth. And, 500,000 people were never accessible for these types of things, and it will only grow. And utilizing the capabilities of the platform, the scalability of the platform, the security of the platform, the flexibility of the platform, the democratization of the platform, you can see already these opportunities. Now, I always tell people 99% of the companies in the internet failed at first. 99% of the companies in wireless failed at first. And I will tell you, most 99% of the companies in Web3 will fail as well. But the internet is still here, wireless is still here, and blockchain will still be here 30 years from now when I started my career in that. Where can people find you, Rupert, if they want to learn more about it? I mean, I love the fact that you're dealing with the masses, teaching and helping and empowering them to take advantage of all types of future opportunity. Where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone who is visiting California or based in California, definitely come by the gallery, which is on Abercrombie in Venice. That can be found at thegallery.collective.com. Or they can reach out at collective.com. I spend most of my days onboarding people into the Web3 space. That's kind of what I do. I'm learning every day, so no question is a bad question. But our main motto is taking brands into the metaverse, and we've been doing a lot of kind of firsts because we're so early. Like everything is a first, right? But we did some interesting stuff for like car brands, and so if anyone's out there who feels like they have an idea and they feel like it's suited to Web3, we're all ears, and we'd like to help manifest it for sure.
I love it. Reach out to Rupert. He's going to help you onboard and learn. I think that's the most critical business issue that exists today with Web3. I certainly wanted to have you on to hopefully inspire people to learn more. The more we're learning, the better we'll be off. I'll talk to you soon, Rupert. Thanks for joining me.
Cheers, David. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
You got it. Thank you so, so much. All right. We have our friends here. Now, Jake, why don't you reset the room and we'll bring on our next guest.
Let's do it. Thank you so much, Rupert, for joining. Some people are asking for his website. It's just collective.com. That's with a K, KOLLECTIFF.com. Thank you, Rupert, for joining. This is the BYOQ, Bring Your Own Questions. Dave will bring his answers here on Clubhouse at the Breakfast with Champions. We've got 4 incredible guests here that are coming on to the show. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask David at the end, just back channel me and we will aim to bring you up Also, if you have any questions in general for Dave, just feel free to email him. It's david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com. Let's also take a quick second. Invite the people that you think would benefit most from these incredible conversations. And then also let's follow the people next to you, follow the people on stage. We're creating an unbelievable community here on Clubhouse. Happy Fired Up Friday. Next up, Dave, I think you're bringing up Brett Knopf, who's coming on Instagram. So I will pass it back. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Jake, as always. And I have my good friend Brett Knopf at Knopf Knows, Knows, and he certainly does know. He is an amazing business strategist, of course, performance coach for over 20 years. A lot of us here in Clubhouse know him and have worked with Brett in understanding how we can get the most out of ourselves. And, you have such a good track record, Brett, over 2 decades. What do you think it is that you've learned to be so consistently successful quantitatively with the people in the companies that you work with?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me, Dave. Thanks for the kind words. For me, it ends up being really investing in people. I genuinely care about what it is that people are looking to do with their lives. And I found through 20 years of leadership and management and coaching that a lot of people just don't have a very clear vision for what it is they want to do. So that makes it extraordinarily challenging to put together the strategies quantifiably, aside from anything else, to drive with any sort of intention to desired outcomes in business, desired outcomes in life, fitness, etc. So, by asking questions and listening and really investing in the personal growth of people that I've worked with, to some extent, even more so than the professional growth, I found that it's really aided my ability to create strong teams where people want to be a part of the organization. They want to work hard on your behalf, the company's behalf, as well as their own behalf. So I think for me, it's really just about genuine empathy and care, and figuring out how to help people get out of their own way and remove the interference, as you so eloquently state, on a regular basis.
Right on. And one of the things about both for companies and for individuals in their performance is this idea of engagement. Engagement allows us to recruit more people, retain more people, and to get more productivity, accessibility, and gratitude from the people. And the analogy that I've been using since we're at the NFL draft here today, going to be in the lobby of the Win, is, imagine paying $30 million for a quarterback and he can't play. Now, at its core, it may be an injury why they can't play, but what is the value and what is the opportunity cost to the organization if you're not playing? And what you do is teach people not only to play every day, but to play at your highest self every day. And I know this may sound simple, but for an organization or for an individual, if you keep things at this level of understanding, hey, I'm just here to do my best, to play, to learn lessons, to improve, and to have fun, which makes me more engaged. I've seen polls with over 90% of people are not engaged in the activity that they get paid for. And I'm not sure that's not spot on, but even if it was 30% of the people aren't engaged in the activity they get paid for, imagine what if we could get people to do their best, learn lessons, and have fun doing activities they get paid for and they don't get paid for, what the economic effect is, especially in areas like sales or personal relationships and family, and most importantly for me, health. Why is it that we create this resistance that we both talk about so much when we can simply see, hey, my objective today is to do my best, learn lessons, and have fun?
I think it's fear, as with most things. There's a fear of taking a deep dive on yourself to really identify what those obstacles are, what those deep-rooted circumstances and issues are in our life that are comprising a lot of the obstacles that we see. I also think people find themselves stuck, and without that benefit of really having objective analysis, either from a coach, from a therapist, whomever, you're not really going to be able to figure out even where the blind spots are to address them directly. For me, the real mission is to empower people to wake up, to really take control of their life personally and professionally, and to help companies and leaders really focus on facilitating that personal growth as much as the professional growth. To your point, 90% of people aren't engaged in what they're doing to make money. There's a huge economic loss, a huge delta to be made up there by the companies that are not cultivating that type of environment. And I want to make sure that we're helping people find the courage, find the strategies to either identify the companies and leaders that are doing that well, that can really be something that they believe in and want to be a part of, or to go out on their own and create that type of environment themselves to bring along the rest of the crew. It's the rising tide lifts all ships motto here. And I find too frequently, leaders lead with the intention of instilling fear as a strategy, and people, they don't want to, they are waking up. They don't want to be a part of that anymore. So, the great resignation, as they put it, is a thing. And let's do what we can to stop that. Put everyone in an environment to win. Wins all around should be the company motto, the life motto, in my opinion.
That's what I love about what you do. If you want to make more money, help more people, and have more fun, reach out to Brett. He's been doing this for years and years as a leadership, a sales management. His unbelievable mindset, heart set, and handset can help you make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun yourself. And it's amazing the misuse of time. I always say my biggest lesson about time is how to use time. And that's the greatest lesson of time. And if we're using it with the mentorship of people like Brett, it's amazing. At Nop Knows, check him out. Thanks so much for joining me, Brett. We're going to get on to the next guest.
My pleasure, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for all the help that you give us. And it's amazing. All right, Jake, why don't you reset the room as we bring on our next guest, because I'm going to be talking about entrepreneurship next. And we have, of course, so many different entrepreneurship schools, Jake. I used to be invited to a ton of sports management programs, and they were brand new. In fact, at my law school alone, there was just even a sports law club when I started. And now at Tulane, we have people like Mike Tannenbaum and the general manager of the Kings and presidents of leagues and teams, all coming from these extraordinary sports management programs. But the latest and greatest is that the greatest entrepreneurs in the world, like people like Richard Schultz and his foundation from Best Buy, Arthur Blank and Tillman Fertitta, these people are creating these incredible entrepreneurship and innovation programs. So why don't we go ahead and set the room? We're going to be taking Q&A after our next guest, Laura Dunham. And go ahead, set the stage here, Jakey.
You got it. Thank you so much, Dave. Yeah, so many entrepreneurial ventures. Dave, of course, went to Tulane and Occidental. So if there's any connections there, just email Dave. I'm sure he'd like to chat about all that he was in the alumni stage of his college career. So with that in mind, thank you, Rupert. Thank you, Brett. If you want to reach out to Brett, it's KNOPF, nopnosolutions.com if you'd like to reach out to Brett. Next up, as Dave mentioned, we got Laura Dunham coming up here. And then, of course, we have Mike Tannenbaum. And then there will be time for some questions. So if you have any questions for David, please back channel me and we will aim to bring you up. So with that in mind, I will pass it back off to you, Dave, so that you can bring on Laura. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Here we go. So I have, as I mentioned, Laura Dunham. She is the Associate Dean at the Schultz School of Entrepreneurship at the University of St. Thomas, funded by the Schultz Foundation. Welcome to the clubhouse here. We're all really curious because I have a philosophy, and I believe that, Mr. Schultz especially believes in it. I believe entrepreneurs are the ones that are going to save the world. And as wonderful as the thought leaders are of our world, it's the entrepreneurs. We this mass scale, size, and scope of problems, from our environmental problems to energy, to whatever it may be. We're not going to solve the problem of plastics simply by, and I'm not encouraging anyone not to utilize sustainable measures, because all these sustainable measures will give us more and more time to fix the problem that entrepreneurs will fix, which is some entrepreneurs are going to figure out how to convert plastic to food and fill up the hole in our atmosphere and get us to in civilizations of all types of capacities. It'll be the entrepreneurs that save the world. Obviously, as an associate dean, I'd love for you to also impart on us the importance of entrepreneurship, of developing entrepreneurship and innovation to the literal existence, human existence that we depend on.
Well, I absolutely agree with you, David. And, we're actually on our campus today. We have 25 teams from universities all around the country who are competing for eFest on the Schultz Entrepreneurship Challenge. And Dick Schultz is the benefactor who makes this event possible, because he does believe in the power of entrepreneurial thinking and doing, and believes in the power of young people who want to take control of their own destiny, but who also want to tackle big problems and big challenges and aren't afraid to tackle them, and to bring some fresh thinking to them and some fresh solutions. And we launched our competition last night with what we call our Pitch Slam. And that is one of 3 competitions we're running this weekend. And all of the teams gave their 90-second elevator pitches. And it's amazing the kinds of things these students are working on. They bring a tremendous curiosity about the world, a tremendous concern about the problems we face, and lots of new thinking and new ideas. So if you want to be inspired by the power of entrepreneurship, you should definitely be here today seeing these young people and their amazing ingenuity.
It is amazing. It is amazing. I'm blessed to be in my 3rd season of 2-minute drill, created and produced elevator pitch, and seeing the incredible capabilities, the big O that exists, the big opportunities. But they need not only funding, which you guys have, over $215,000 in cash prizes, and we give over $50,000 each episode for 12 episodes. And would love to have your participants, and maybe even give an exemption to your winner to come on to the show on Apple TV and Bloomberg. But it does take 2 things. It takes money, which the Schultz family is generously putting up, and have also established a school. But it does take money, but it also takes mentorship. And I have found from the TV show, not only with the extraordinary judges we have, people like Janice Holroyd and Kim Perrell and Rory Kataya, and these incredible minds that are Alex Machinsky, 3-time unicorn. Beyond the money, it's the advice that you're giving, not just to the people competing, but to the audience. We probably have impacted more people that have watched 2-minute drill and elevator pitch than have been on the show by far, by an exponential rate, with millions of people going, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Or even sharing, look, not everyone thinks the same thing. So what I love about having 4 judges is I'll get, I love this, and I'll hate this, but it's important to know what frequency loves it and what frequency hates it. What are for you the greatest quantitative values that come from the eFest competition beyond the money?
Well, speaking to your first point, mentorship, one reason why we designed eFest the way we do, and that it's 3 days, it's not just one sort of Shark Tank competition. It's actually 3 days of activities and workshops and mentoring and networking, because we know that it's not just about winning money. It's about honing your skills. It's about getting feedback. It's about getting mentoring. Obviously, every new business faces a lot of uncertainty, and so it's really incredibly important to be surrounded by people who have knowledge of your customer, of your field, who bring functional, knowledge, whether it's about marketing or finance or operations, to help you think through what you're doing so you can be more effective. So we've built that into eFest because we think that is really important. I also think the other thing that mentors do is they supply that moral support. When you have great advisors, not only are they helping you think through your idea better, but they're also the people that you can celebrate the victories with and cry on the shoulder of, when things get tough. And we know that launching a business is tough. So creating community and support is is as important as the learning process and at raising capital.
I love that you bring up building community support and communication, because, you know, there are a lot of misconceptions about entrepreneurship and education. And there's different types of ways to be educated today, much more than when you and I were in school. And you and I have both taught in undergrad, grad, and executive business programs. And I was mentioning, you know, 30 years ago when I was in law school, sports law was a club. Now there's almost every law school has some sort of sports law program. And now they're moving to sports law and entertainment because of people, you know, that, you know, realize the crossover nature of these big type of what I call backgrounds. There, some people call them trillion-dollar industries. I just think it's a backdrop to skills and knowledge. But I'm seeing the exact same trend in entrepreneurship. And I think it's a very valuable and needed trend, because the one thing that structured education gives us, it may not be applicable to real life, as they say, quote unquote, but it makes a community and it allows us to have support of internship, mentorship, funding. All these other things come from a structured environment. Not to discount the grinders out there. I grind and I support you. If school's not for you, then you learn the way that you learn. But school has some huge benefits to accelerate your success if you do find that community and communication is important. How have you seen the acceleration of, you know, this new founded entrepreneurship schooling compared to, hey, drop out of, you know, high school or college and make it, buddy? Now we actually have a community with real strategy, with real help and real finance.
Yeah, and as you say, you know, college is not for everybody, but college is definitely a great place to come and broaden your horizons, to actually find those areas of interest and those problem spaces that you might want to focus your entrepreneurial career on, building solutions for. And we very much are focused on real world applications. So we are always bringing real living entrepreneurs and experienced entrepreneurs into the classroom and into our other co-curricular programming. We are getting our students working with startups and innovation groups within large companies. We're exposing them all the time to the challenges that entrepreneurs really face out in the world, whether they are starting their own business or working for another business. I do think that the value of an education is it not only exposes you to new knowledge and new ideas, but it puts you in an environment where you can very supportively explore what it means to use those tools, to develop the skills, to apply those skills. And so it's more than just looking at a video and learning these are the 5 things you do as an entrepreneur. It's like, okay, get out there and do it. You know, you got to actually experience it. We get our students out talking to, you know, potential customers or suppliers or channel partners. They come back into the classroom and they deconstruct what happened and what they did right, what they did wrong, what they could do better next time. So it's really holding the hands of entrepreneurs and experientially engaging them in the practice and craft of entrepreneurship. While, as you say, having this tremendous community of supporters, other like-minded students, faculty that love what they do and love, you know, supporting the development of young people, and then our entire network here at St. Thomas, which is amazing. As you mentioned earlier, you know, Dick Schultz, who's got his name on the doors here at the Schultz School of Entrepreneurship, a huge benefactor, big believer in entrepreneurial education, and he is the one that makes this big competition possible because he wants to support young people on this journey.
And so do I, and so do you. And Laura, I appreciate it so much. I'm looking forward to supporting your school and others much, much more. So please reach out. I'd love to have you be a part of the 2-minute drill, expand and amplify what you're doing down there on Bloomberg Television and Apple TV, as well as anything I can do as a mentor, a coach, and a teacher. Would love to offer not only myself, but the huge network of leading entrepreneurs in the world that I know are looking for opportunities to give back, to elevate others like you do, like Dick does. Just so much gratitude. Where can people find more information about eFest and, of course, the Schultz School?
So the Schultz School of Entrepreneurship, you can look on the University of St. Thomas at Minnesota on our website. And we have all kinds of fabulous programming and opportunity to partner with people who want to come in as mentors and judges for our competitions. I will also say that we have a 4-year full tuition scholarship for 10 incoming freshmen every year who demonstrated entrepreneurial initiative. So you can also, and we have not only this full tuition scholarship for these students, but we also have specialized programming to help them accelerate their leadership skills. But if you are interested specifically in eFest, we partner with the Entrepreneur and Innovation Exchange, also known as EIX. So if you look up EIX and eFest, you'll come to the eFest page, find out more about it. You'll also get a chance to see the 7-minute video pitches that our 25 semifinalists pitched in order to be selected to participate in the competition. So that's really fun to look at what they're working on and the great ideas that they are developing.
Even more fun will be what I'm blessed to have over these 30 years is 30 years from now, watching the people who graduate from the program and the winners from the contest. And, you know, my heart sings because I started in sports when I see, you know, one of my interns, you know, running companies like Hyperice or running, you know, AEG or the San Francisco 49ers or Barclays, or it's so much fun. Way better than any award I could ever receive. That's to me the greatest trophies are these human beings that are giving back and carrying on a legacy that Dick and yourself and others like you are putting on. Check out eFest this week. Check out St. Thomas, by the way. Very familiar with them in my experience in Minnesota. Extraordinary university, not just for entrepreneurship, by the way. A great place to learn how to make money, help people, and have fun. Those entrepreneurs are going to save the world. And so are you, Laura. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, David.
Please reach out. I'm happy to help.
For sure.
Thank you. Awesome. All right. David at dmeltzer.com. Reach out if you want more information. There's so many of these unbelievable opportunities that, believe it or not, are non-traditional in their respect. Welcome, everybody. If you're just joining us, Jake, why don't you reset the room and then let's take some questions.
Perfect. That was an incredible guest. Thank you so much, Laura, Brett, Rupert, for joining here on the BYOQ in the Breakfast with Champions room here on Clubhouse with David Meltzer. It is Fired Up Friday. We've got some unbelievable guests that are joining, and I think this next guest that's joining us here on Clubhouse, of course, with the NFL draft this week, we've got the one and only Mike Tannenbaum, who is here in the Clubhouse. So I'll pass back off to you, Dave, to kindly introduce your great friend, Mike Tannenbaum, and welcome to the room, Mike.
I didn't think he was going to make it. I got to be honest. There's some people in your life, and I'll tell you, Mike is one of them, that just, they show up no matter how big, how famous, how extraordinary they are. You know, it's the draft, everyone. And this is ESPN's, you know, I think leading analyst, especially as a former general manager and executive of the Dolphins and GM of the Jets, and just a mensch. But Mike, you know, you're there at the draft. It was one of the most unique first days of the draft, as you and I anticipated. A lot of trades as we anticipated, a quarterback quandary as we anticipated. But there was a trend that I think we didn't talk about. Maybe you did, and I don't talk about it as much. But those wide receivers became a trend there in the first 20 picks. That I didn't see coming. I saw, you know, the quantity. What did you see in the first day, Mike, as we welcome you to all the different platforms we're on? What did you see that was so different this year comparatively to all the other years you participated in many levels at the draft?
I was just shocked by the risk, Dave. You know, starting with number 1, Trayvon Walker, he played 52% of the snaps at defensive end last year and only had six sacks for the first pick of the draft. I like to have a lot more certainty. So big risk there, taking him over Aiden Hutchinson, the talented defensive end who went number 2 to the Detroit Lions, and then 3 and 4. You know, Derek Stingley from LSU, he only played 10 games in the last 2 years, and he went 3 to Houston, where Sauce Gardner, who didn't give up a touchdown, went to the Jets at number 4.
And one of the other things I, you know, want to leverage your experience from being a general manager, going to the playoffs so many times, building a team that they haven't seen yet, or I know you hope they will see again in New York, and so does Gary Vee, our other buddy, as they want to see a resurgence of the Tannenbaum age of the Jets. But it was really interesting with all the risk and all the changes. why this year were people so ready with their picks? I mean, it was almost too fast for TV. The minute the one pick was done, it said, okay, the Los Angeles Chargers pick is in. I've never seen it go that fast.
Yeah, I think it was people were really, Dave, they knew exactly who they wanted, why they wanted it, and away they went. And it was fascinating to me because I agree, it went that fast. It was people like, I think Aiden Hutchinson was picked 10 seconds after, Trayvon Walker. And I think people were prepared and people's boards were different, and they just took the player they knew was a fit for their organization.
And I think you just you nailed it there, Mike, because for the first time, people could choose who was best fit for their organization because of the lack of quarterback. Right? Like there comes that choice as a general manager executive, like, oh my gosh, we cannot pass up Tua. Right. And he's, oh my gosh, this quarterback is still available because there's 6 out there that could go in the first round. Do you think that had some impact? And why were receivers so well sought after this year? And what was your favorite pick in the receiver spot?
Yep, all great points. A couple of thoughts. First of all, only one quarterback going is shocking. And I think we'll see Malik Willis of Liberty, the Auburn transfer, go today. I think we'll see Sam Howell from North Carolina, Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. So I think, that was sort of like the consensus, just in terms of what a lot of teams saw the quarterbacks, that not a lot of frontline quarterbacks this year. In terms of receiver, I love Chris Olave going to New Orleans. Jameson Winston, I think, is going to have a really good year. Michael Thomas has struggled there in recent years. So I think Chris Olave will have a great year as a rookie wide receiver from Ohio State with the Saints.
Yeah, those Ohio State receivers did really well back-to-back as well. I'm going to let you go back to the draft. Hopefully I'll see you in studio today in the lobby of the Wynn. Mike, if you have time, make sure you swing by before you get back onto ESPN for round 2. What do you anticipate for today in the second round?
Yeah, a lot of really interesting storylines. We hit on the quarterbacks. Todd Bowles has his first pick as Tampa Bay head coach, which I think should be really interesting. And then, after that, I think we'll see teams like Kansas City with multiple picks. I'm really curious to see what they do. And then Kobe Dean he was a great player. 5 Georgia players went last night. How about this, Dave? 5 Georgia defensive players went. 4 went from the ACC conference. It shows you how good they were.
Incredibly good. And that's probably why they had the results that they did. Anyway, Mike, I want to just thank you for joining us. Join Mike and I on Saturday mornings. We have a Twitter Spaces program, NFL Executive Sports Talk there. Follow The Real Tannenbaum and then the 33rd Team. If you want the biggest and brightest minds from Parcells to, it's unbelievable who you have on your 33rd Team. But the names of, it's just genius. Can you just real quick before I let you go, Mike, list off some of the executives and coaches that are on the 33rd Team and the knowledge that they're sharing with everybody for free?
Yeah, we've been very, very fortunate. As you mentioned, Coach Parcells and Joe Banner, Bill Polian, Doug Peterson, Dan Quinn, amongst many others have joined us. And, we're very lucky, very privileged. But, I'm very privileged to be friends with quality people like Dave Meltzer, who has the generosity gene. Dave, I know you derive enjoyment from people by helping others, and that's inspiring to me. And what you and Jake and crew do is it's great to see good people doing as well as you do, and proud to be your friend and partner.
Oh, thanks for joining us and showing up during the draft. How blessed are we to have Mike Tannenbaum? Go get him, my friend. Hopefully I'll see you in studio today. If you have time, please swing by. If not, I'll give you a virtual hug and pray for your happiness. Take care, brother.
You too. Thank you.
Right on. Oh my gosh, we are so blessed to have Mike join us on draft day. Incredible. Jake, we got about 11 more minutes left, so we can bring up some more people on Clubhouse. Who do you got? Go ahead, set the room real quick.
Perfect. Yes. And if anyone wants to reach out, as Dave mentioned, to the 33rd Team, it's just at the 33rd Team on Instagram. That's an incredible initiative and company that Mike Tannenbaum is putting together. Quickly resetting the room here. It is 7:49 a.m. Pacific time, 10:49 a.m. Eastern time. This is the Breakfast with Champions hour of power with David Meltzer. There's been some unbelievable guests that have come on so far. Next up, we've got a little bit of time left. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, please back channel me. And if you don't get a chance, just email Dave, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. We've got Tyree Dillingham in the room, actually. So Tyree, welcome to the clubhouse. What question do you have today for Dave?
Yeah, hi, good morning, Jake. Hi, Dave. It's so great to see you guys or listen to you this morning. Thanks for having me. This is all great topics this morning, talking about entrepreneurship. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, Dave and I are partners with NFL Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, who is quite busy this morning with the draft, on his way to Las Vegas from the NFL Hall of Fame. And, you know, speaking of entrepreneurship, obviously that is something that we have embarked on together, and educating people about financial literacy, and which is very pertinent, especially in the athlete world. So, you know, thinking about people, I'm sure, ask you all the time. And I know people ask Marshall all the time that they always want him to do a business. They're always approaching him about, hey, invest in this, do this with me. This is my vision. And you guys have, or the three of us have given a lot of people an opportunity to create their own entrepreneurial experience in what I would call an entrepreneur incubator. And so when you're thinking about people, because everybody thinks that they want to be an entrepreneur until they get there, right? And then there's all these challenges that come up. So when you're thinking and talking to people about having the opportunity to create their own enterprise and go into business with you and Marshall, what types of characteristics and skills and things that people say to you are you really looking for in that space?
Yeah, look, you know, I'm encouraging most people to start with entrepreneurship, Tyree. And it's a great question, because never before have we had an opportunity to learn how to be an entrepreneur off of somebody else's dime, right? There's big companies out there that not only will give you the excitement, the lottery ticket of owning equity in a big startup, a well-funded startup, but they'll give you health insurance. They'll give you a salary. They'll give you performance. You can work at home. You can work your own hours. So, you know, I really encourage people that are starting as entrepreneurs to work for a big company so that they can learn financial literacy. They can learn and pay the dummy tax through somebody else, but also receive the mentorship, the coaching, and the teaching. The reason I partnered with Marshall and yourself is that we actually build entrepreneurs. That go off because they make so much money, help so many people, and have so much fun that they can not only utilize our business to teach other people financial literacy, but create other businesses on our dime. They don't have to put their house up. They don't have to struggle and come into a cubbyhole office, and spend more time in their car than they do with their family, so that they can support their family. They don't sit all day thinking, gosh, when I'm in the activity I get paid for, I wish I was doing the activity I don't get paid for. When they're in the activity they don't get paid for, they're going, I wish I was in the activity I do get paid for. These are all things where what we really provide and other companies provide is entrepreneurship. So you can be an entrepreneur. Most successful entrepreneurs are 45 to 65 years old. Most. There are anomalies. There's young people that are 17, 19, right, that do this. But the majority of them are 45 to 65, and they have had to, on their own dime, become true entrepreneurs, utilizing the ability to make money from their innovations or other people's innovations. And so financial literacy doesn't happen overnight. I, as you know, tell the story how I was worth over $100 million in financially illiterate, the same as an athlete. One of the things I like about the name, image, and likeness rule is it allows people to practice, as we did with our first guest. You know, if you want to get involved in the metaverse and crypto and Web3, put $100 in. Now we have people onboarding that and allowing you to learn. We are a financial literacy platform. Marshall Faulk, who has extreme experience in utilizing, unlike most athletes, financial literacy in order to create a legacy, a financial legacy for himself, you as well, not only in the sports world, but in the world of politics and entrepreneurship. And I think the last variable, as I finish the question, Tyree, is one of the things that we teach is the desire to be what you must be, which is the common denominator of all successful people who carry the spirit of excellence because of the community and communication, like our friend at St. Thomas at Schultz School of Entrepreneurship. There is a common denominator that you must be what you can be. And instead of just scaring you and motivating you, it's that effective communication and community that inspires you. And to have that support to be an entrepreneur is crucial. And to be financially literate is a legacy that will last a lifetime. Thank you so much, Tyree. I am going to take another question online real quick, and then we'll get our final guest here on the Clubhouse, the Breakfast of Champions. I want to thank Jakey Bakey. This is the first time we've ever integrated it this way, and we'll only get better. So thank you for your patience, everyone. What is the secret sauce to consistency? Well, I love that question. The secret sauce of consistency is to take a step back and understand what the habit machine is made of, what consistency is made of. And what it is made of is called coherence. And understanding that in order to be consistent, you have to remember what you want, who you can help you, how best to get it done, and to prioritize it correctly. There's 5 daily practices that I send out to everyone, and happy to send out to everyone. Just use my email in the bio. Jake will let you know my email as well. And just understand that if we take a step back and say to ourselves, okay, I need to remember today and do what I want, not what other people want, what's missing, what I don't want, who I can help and who can help me. How best can I get it done with my activity I plan, don't have plan my sleep, activity I get paid for, activity I don't get paid for, in order to prioritize what I want, who I can help, and who can help me, and how to get it done. I can then apply my why to the day, utilize the desire, inspire that I must be what I can be. This is the crucial essence of consistency, the ability to remember and to do. But you have to know what, who, how, and now to remember, and you have to know what, who, how, and now to do, to apply the why. And doing is 5 levels of intention. Once you know and pay attention to the what, the who, the how, and the now, applying your why, you will do everything in that trajectory, say everything in that trajectory, think everything in that trajectory. You will be able to regulate the belief in that direction by identifying when you're out of that intention, by knowing what you're afraid of, what you're doing to interfere with it, with the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, in order to feel inspired. And if you feel inspired, you will be passionate, purposeful, and profitable. I guarantee it. All right, Jake, we'll take the last question here on the Breakfast of Champions. Go ahead.
Last question here on the Breakfast with Champions. Let's bring up Lori Burns. Lori, if you can please unmute yourself and ask your question to Dave. Welcome.
Hello. My question is how is your day going? I mean, goodness gracious, I'm a little perplexed. I didn't know that you guys were going to bring me on stage. I so appreciate you greatly. I guess my question really is about, asking for help. Like, are we asking source or are we asking people?
Great question to end with. Number one piece of advice I'd give myself and to others still today, whether you're 14, 24, 34, 44, or 54, like I am, it is practicing one thing, asking for help. And we ask for help is a wish, right? And a wish is in person, on the phone, via email, via media, traditional, social, and meditative. Asking for help and understanding that we need to receive or we can't give. The more you receive, the more you can appreciate, the more you can acknowledge. The more you ask, the more you'll receive. The more you receive, the more you'll appreciate, add value to with productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. And the more you'll acknowledge, meaning the more you'll learn, acquiring the knowledge by what? Giving it away, losing it, having it manipulated, stolen, or cheated from you. All are forms of acknowledgement in the man-made construct of time. So we will not expand our own vessel. We will not work within the coordinated, collaborative, synergistic expansion of the universe unless we ask. So my objective is to teach people how to ask. You can't ask big enough. The only thing that should die in your lifetime is your limitation. You can't ask often enough. Only thing that should die in your lifetime is your limitations. And you can't ask in enough times in the formats of in person, on the phone, via email, traditional social media, and in a meditative state to the universe. Learn to ask. The more you receive, the more you can appreciate, meaning the more you can add value to. And finally, the more you can give away, lose, have manipulated or stolen from yourself. In other words, learn, acknowledge, acquire the knowledge. All right, it's 8 o'clock, Jake. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's close out the room. We'll be here next Friday at 7 a.m. I want to thank Amelia. We'll be handing it back off to her. Thank you, everyone. Remember, most importantly, to be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. Email me if you need anything, david@dmeltzer.com. Thank you. Close it out, Jake.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Dave. Let's quickly, let's flash our mics. That was incredible.